You're live.
Let's just take a moment, guys. Let's take a moment. Pray with me. Not really.
You're live.
I'm live? Yeah, okay, we're live. Oh my God, we're live. What are we going to do about that now that we're live? What am I going to do with being live? Why am I here? Why am I whispering? Doesn't matter. I thought this might irritate you actually with the lights on the glasses, but c'est la vie. We have to deal with it. I guess I'm just kind of going to fill space whilst we consider the options. What's happening?
This all happened because I made a terrible cup of coffee.
This was the worst cup of coffee in the world, I think, that I've ever experienced. That was a huge failure on your part. I think Victoria failed.
And that's what led us to this place.
It is.
Where we are streaming through Zoom, even though we're in the same room together.
Exactly. And yes, I'm going to look there because this is a mirror situation. You don't know what's going on.
So I'm
fantastic.
Sure
will I be?
We are all working and that everything is where it needs to be.
You are sure or unsure?
I am unsure.
Okay.
So I'm asking in the chat if we are still live. Yes, we are still live. Okay.
So I'm just kind of fucking around.
Yeah, we're kind of speaking into a box, right? Beautiful. So I think the purpose of this exercise was actually not for us to deal with the worst of technology for many minutes, but for us to actually answer some questions.
Okay.
And so we're going to do that. All right. So let's
very casual one today, guys. Very casual and feeling casual, loosey goosey.
Yes.
So Goosey, my cat. Goosey the cat.
We love Goosey. We are gonna start with something here. Is everyone still seeing and hearing us? That would be great. All right, so what I'm saying is that we are here. All right, so we are going to ask about the Grass Before the Scythe music video.
Scythe.
Scythe.
Isn't it Scythe?
Scythe? Tell us in the chat if it's Scythe or Scythe.
I guess it depends if you're highly cultured like the English or, base Neanderthals like the Americans.
Who make terrible coffee. Again.
How dare you?
I know. That's all how this happened. So something that our friend Julie said was talking about how you used a real all white and very natural palette for Elisa when you were styling her for the video and kind of how that came about.
Yeah, I liked, she's very beautiful naturally, and usually she has her image, and I just wanted to break that up really and offer a different angle on her, and I think it worked very well to sort of neutralize that character. So if you take away a lot of the experimental makeup, I guess gothic makeup, then I wanted to just so I wanted to neutralize her character a bit and make her ethereal and a bit more timeless. I think. And she tried it, she loved it, she didn't need any more than that, really. Yeah, just a spur of the moment choice, experimenting in the moment.
And then on the same topic of the video, our patron Amy asked, she was curious about the use of the mirrored images and how the inspiration for that came about, and then talked about how that was reminiscent of the video for Art Bleeds Money, and also some of the lyricism in North Star and the video there with the reprogram repeat. And so kind of what the mirroring means and how that process works with creating and filming that on the iPhone.
Yeah, it's just it's quite a nice way to get abstraction, and it, oddly enough, playing with those mirrors quite a lot, quite intensively. It's not just like slapping a mirror on it. It's spending a lot of time taking each individual scene and experimenting with the position of the subject, and then with the position of the mirror, and then seeing how that flows in the moving image. So I spend a lot of time with the still image first, and then often it's about discovering that random beauty comes out of it without having to stuff that I could not imagine, and that's what I like. I like tools that surprise me, and even though it's a basic tool, you can use it quite quickly to get something quite surprising. And I like that in art in general. I like using quite simple tools to get complicated, to get to complicated places. But to get to that complicated place, you really have to experiment and spend a lot of time with it, because you can just slap that on it and create something that is okay. But the images that you see in the video took a long time to get to those particular combination of mirrored images. And as did the Art Bleeds Money video. There is a thread there, because it's a nice tool to create abstraction with normal subjects, and with the Art Bleeds Money video, that's quite a good example of something that did take a long time to keep it well placed. So you can't just put a mirror on it. You have to frame edit every single bit to move that mirror with the image that is being mirrored. Same with the Grass Before the Scythe video. So you get a kind of kaleidoscopic effect, but it's quite complicated in the end, if you want something interesting.
And kind of...
I'm going to look there. I need to look there.
Yes.
In the mirror. The mirror. We're talking about mirrors.
Mirrors, mirror. Give me back my time. Talking again about the video, kind of wrapping up those sort of thoughts. Jennifer wanted to know just about what the biggest challenge was in filming the video.
The biggest... Are we having... Oh, the biggest challenge was light. Light is always a challenge, and if you're doing if you're in it and you're filming it and you're conceptualizing it all, the lighting is a massive part of it, and obviously the iPhone camera is very good, and it's finally got to a point where the resolution is enough to make a professional product. But still, if you don't spend a lot of time with lighting to create mood and atmosphere, it's gonna just look like any well shot family video in the backyard, because the iPhone is still limited. So it has the resolution, but it doesn't have uh, very much flexibility in the depth of the image. You can fudge it, which I did a little bit by adding filters. Physical filters and anamorphic lenses and things like that, attachments. But it still needs work. It's just there. Just got it.
So a question that I have out of that is, did you find that editing the footage from the iPhone was more intensive or challenging than editing footage captured in a more traditional manner?
No, it was easier. Only because of the general, the workflow is very quick. You still need to add attachments. Like, for instance, the phone that I'm looking at now is the phone that I used, and it's in a frame here. I won't fuck with it too much, but
After all we've been through.
it's in a little setup, and it's like a cage where you can add attachments to it, and you need extra storage, for instance, to shoot at the high frame rates that I shot at. So you need to add an extra external device that can handle the high quality, what's called ProRes footage. You can't just do it in your phone. You won't get the high quality. At least you won't get the depth or the color depth so that you can edit very well in post. So you do need to fuck around, but still the flow is very quick. And it's very easy, and it's small. I like little things. Yeah.
And then about the footage that you've done on the iPhone in the past, we also had a question about when there was the event here at the property for We Align. There was some footage that you shot of the attendees on the iPhone. Do you have ideas or plans for where we might see that end up in the future?
Yeah, it's in storage, ready. I did throw it into Grass Before the Scythe to see if that would stimulate something, but it didn't fit with the feeling and the concept. It was just a very different look, and because it wasn't a controlled atmosphere, it was very quickly done. It's more of an impromptu, I think, documentary style feeling to that footage. So I think that will be more in line with documentary stuff. I'm not sure if that will fit with, unless it was really played with, which I could do. It would have to and it was also very short, so you have a very short thing. Yeah, I don't want to over explain it, but I think it'll find its right place for sure. So it's sitting there, and it will present itself to me at the right time.
Awesome. So moving on to the tour, we know that for the European tour, we're doing some meet and greets. And Vera wanted to know what people who are new to doing a meet and greet can kind of expect from having that opportunity to meet you in the band.
It You can expect to have a little cuddle and a little laugh, possibly a little glass of wine, and some wonderful words exchanged, good feelings. I don't know. Maybe what do you expect already? I don't know what is the general expectation from a fan that comes. What do they want from me?
Well, something that Vera mentioned in her question was about asking about how the meet and greet can be more of an authentic connection, or what, I think kind of can do as fans to make the meet and greet like that kind of connection that we want to have together.
Interesting. I guess that's down to, well, I won't be editing myself if that's what we think. I know it's not particularly large amount of time. It's kind of quick, so, and it's a little bit stressful depending on the day. Sometimes there's lots of things going on, but generally it usually is very authentic, I would say. I mean, I don't see myself masking in that situation anymore. Maybe I might get a little bit squirrely, but you can be there and give me a hug, give me a snog. I don't know. Let's see.
Talking about autism and masking, Kinga asked a question about, we know the Tory P, like we talked about last time, is going to be called Unmask. Kinga says you are obviously exploring the unmasking autism process recently. Can you tell us more about how that's going for you and how being, so I'm going to say, I've seen IAMX as kind of a mask and sometimes as your second nature. Now, when you are unmasking, would you say it's X that was hidden under the mask or something new yet to be fully discovered?
I would say that it's already all there. It's more about, so removing the mask is sort of removing the negativity or the stress that comes with not accepting the self fully in and it's been easy for me within IMX to accept the self, but in my everyday life there's a bit of a disconnect, and what I'm trying to do is to bring these two, which are quite extremes really, bring these two together, and to just live more IMX in my everyday life and more everyday life in IMX. So it's a little bit of a it's the life goal of everyone to a certain degree, but it's particularly resonant with me because it's possibly because of the autism and how it does have these black and white extremes and the hypersensitivity to many things. So often, you know, I'll live here and I'll be disconnected from the whole world, and then I'll go on stage and I'll be very connected with a lot of people. So just trying to sort of balance those two without strain. And there's a lot of things that I've spoken about and more recently acted upon within IMX that I want to integrate, or I am integrating more into my everyday life and being okay with all of that. Yeah, it's an ongoing process. It's going very well. I'm having actually quite a lot of therapy at the moment, and specifically to autism and also sort of relationship identity and kink and all sorts of things that are already interesting in IMX, or explored, sorry, in IMX, but are not so embraced in my everyday life. I know that's a bit vague, right? Because I don't want to say too much right now because I'm still in the middle of processing it all. All I can say is that it's going very well, and I feel a brightness and a lightness that is kind of been looking for a long time. Yes.
So, getting into some of the more technical aspects of the tour. Tour starts next week. How are you feeling about getting on with such a longer European tour after the last one was a bit shorter?
I am looking forward to it. There's always a lot of stress, pre-tour stress and prep and chaos and triggering to the autistic mind. But there's also this underlying feeling of excitement and buzziness and joy that I'm looking forward to very much. And hearing my creations in those rooms and seeing their impact on you is always a beautiful thing. I'm looking forward. Yeah, sometimes I'm a little more reticent and I feel a little stressed and negative about it all. But I think because of what's going on with my therapy and my unmasking, it feels lighter to me, the whole experience. Yeah. Does that answer any of that question?
I think it answered it perfectly.
Oh.
Yes. Beautiful.
Woohoo!
10 out of 10.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, 11 out of 10.
I mean, Jesus, yeah.
Oh, I'll just keep making up.
Thank you very much.
Infinite. Then another question.
Infinite applause.
Infinite applause.
Is that infinite applause?
Some infinite applause in the
so
chat,
infinite, it's
please.
silent.
Then another question we had, which came from Kevin, was asking if you are going to be doing a tour diary again, like a video diary on this upcoming tour, if that's something you've thought about.
That would be wonderful if I had a little more time in the day. I do like that very much. I'm trying to flog that job off onto someone else. But I think it has to come more from me, and I can't promise I'm going to do that. But if I do feel the urge, I will, because I do enjoy it, and I like to take pictures and videos, and sort of expand my creativity a bit onto. I like to observe and see what other people are like and what they're doing, and see what they look like in certain lighting and certain situations, and who they are, and what objects look like in the room. And I'm just very obsessed with observing things. So to record that is a bit of a luxury really on tour, but I really would like to do that more, because it's so transient, the whole thing, and it's very easy for touring to just turn into one huge blur in your mind, and someone will say something about something I did 2 years ago. I have no recollection of it. Sometimes I do. I'm quite a visual processor, so there are things like rooms, faces, things like that. I do. They're burnt into my memory, and but situations and things that people said and what I said, I have no idea. Don't remember anything. So it would be nice to record that and have something to look back on in my death chair when I'm thinking about back on my life. I think I just snotted out of my nose.
We're getting some bodily fluids.
I just snotted.
We did say like we wanted this to be kinky, and we haven't gotten very kinky yet.
I mean, I could snot on somebody right now if they were here. Did you say fuck?
So
people like that. I don't know. Some people like that.
I think there's some people who would love that.
I think I would quite like that. Let's see.
being snotted.
I just, the I don't give a fuck thing is kinky. Anyway, let's move on to more serious things, like this cable that I'm holding to distract you all from what I've just said.
I don't think it needs to be distracted. So Rossi had a technical question.
Hello, Rossi.
You tell us some more. I could be pronouncing it wrong. It could be Rossi. Rossi. Could you tell us more about the process of assigning the live parts and how you make that work with lineup changes? Considering, for example, we've had Sammy, Sarah, Janine. You've done shows with John, and then it seems that you had a show in Ukraine without John.
Yeah.
How you make that work on the fly?
Yeah, that's a good question. Live tracks, electronic tracks that we take with us that they're called the backing tracks, or we call them magic. So that'll be all the electronic sounds that we can't recreate live, that I produce in the studio. I'll have on a laptop, which is then synced with drummers. So John has a click and he plays the live drums plus some electronic drums. He keeps the band in time. Janine and or Sarah play totally free, but in time, all the time actually. And so they respond to the tracks, the magic, and John. That's when we have a full band setup, and my setup is a little modular thing with effects, which is also synced with the tracks via MTC MIDI time code. And so my electronic stuff that I add during the shows, the live stuff, the modular stuff, which you can see in the background, actually, I take little bits of that with me. And that's synced via MTC MIDI time code. That means that if I want to play a sequence of da 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 da, then that's locked in time with both John and the backing tracks, the magic. Right, this is probably, these lines on the glasses are probably very annoying. I'm sorry about that, but deal with it. Then if there is no drummer, what I usually do is with the tracks, I have with the magic, I have separately mixed individual stems, live stems. So I'll have electronic kick, electronic hi-hat, electronic snare, which levels are generally set, and those levels can be changed during a show. So if I want to turn up the electronic drums to cover for a non-existent John, I will do that when I enter the club in Ukraine. We need more electronic drums, turn it up. Or when John comes back, turn them down. So it's very flexible. I've produced it in a way that and similar with if we need more electronic bass, if Janine isn't playing, I'll turn the electronic bass up a little bit to give it a bit more boost. When she does play, turn the electronic bass down. You see? It's all very flexible and thought through. I think this Zoom said it was going to end unless I upgrade. What does that mean?
Did it really? You should have a paid version of Zoom, but I suppose if it ends, we could just Zoom again. But we will see how much time we have left together. Obviously, we're keeping it in the free stream today since we've had some tech issues. So this is a bonus, but everyone should join the Patreon anyway.
This is a boner.
This is a boner. Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves your glasses and they do not mind the lines. It's true. And
you're very sweet, you fucks.
And then another question. So going off of what you said about how you're doing that live setup and changing
I really want to turn around and look at you, but I'm going to look at you through the mirror.
Do you want me to come over?
No.
Thank you.
Stay in the mirror.
Thank you. So another question. So
what was that? What was the question?
I didn't even ask it yet. When
Well, get on with it then, Victoria.
when you are on stage and you have your suitcase with the modulars,
Yes.
do you build that custom every time for each tour?
A little bit. Yeah, I have done that. I have changed things and to integrate certain machines or different modules, I have to change the framework or the structure of the suitcase. Yes. Fortunately, it's a very sturdy Rewona case that was very expensive a long time ago, but it's very solid and light aluminium, so I can screw into it, and it never dies. That thing, it's wonderful. The mini behemoth, whatever you want to call it. I'm just bringing that in, and therefore, yes, that gives me the flexibility to bring lots of different things depending on my kink for the tour. Clunk clunk.
It's a nice sound.
It is a nice sound. Even though it was a shit coffee, the cup
makes
a great sound.
Such a good sound. I'm gonna need the opportunity to redeem myself later.
You will have to make me a very good cup of coffee.
I usually use a French press. This is where
French press, French fucking US press fucks.
this is where it all. At least I didn't do, or the worst would be a K cup.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine?
I'm not even going to lower myself to think that thought about
a little plastic shot glass of coffee.
Wow,
they're kind of gross. Theo wants to know what your kink is for this upcoming tour.
My kink is flexible, changing, open to influence. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? My technical kink, my technology kink, my personal sexual kink. What do you mean?
Well, you had mentioned when you were talking about building the case that you're building it based on whatever your kink is.
Yes, I threw the word in because I can. All right, and it's I guess I see. So we're talking technical kink. Yes, I get it now. It takes a little time to process, but once it's in there, this brain, it's pretty powerful. So the kink would be more vocal effects. Actually, I'm trying to add the holy grail of vocal effects for live is a very high quality distortion. It's very difficult to get distortion on a vocal live. It's one of it's almost impossible. I can describe why. That one of the biggest reasons is it's totally unruly. It's very difficult to contain the feedback. Even with a very heavy gate on the channel, you struggle to control the feedback. And a lot of the time, what I've done, if I really want a heavy distortion on the vocal, I'll add something on the Magic. So I'll re-record a vocal, pre-record a vocal, that in the way that I would sing it live, and then I would distort the fuck out of it, and I would have it basically as an effect with my main vocal live. So there's a song called Disciple, and that song has a bit of a vocal effect in the chorus. Now my goal, my kink for this one is to find a way to make that fucking distortion work. It's been a goal of mine for many, many years to make it work. And think I might have it. I'm not sure, but we'll see. If I do make it work, I will celebrate by releasing fluids all over you during the shows. Snot.
Gonna need a lot of snot.
That'll be a lot of snot. I think it's easier for me to create other fluids that on that scale.
So on our Zoom here, we have 3 minutes left. Do we want to take a break and test fate and try to go into the Patreon?
Oh my god, that's up to you.
Yeah, let's
You are
do it.
the tech hub today, and
Oh,
I'm just
God.
here passively adding my incredible personality to this. I can't even see you properly because I've got these glasses on. You're just like a blur.
How about now?
There she is.
Oh God, am I? Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi guys. All right.
She is real.
Proof of life
Proof of life.
to my family. It's like, where are you?
I do work for that person.
I'm not delusional. I am, but for different reasons.
You're delusional if you think that's a good cup of coffee. Jesus Christ.
So we are going to hop out of this Zoom, and you guys might see my desktop for a second just because of some of the technical issues we're working with.
Ooh.
So forgive me for that. And then we will hop into the patron stream and just send us all the good vibes that we get in there quickly and easily.
I'm going to hop and have a little wee-wee.
Yeah.
In a bush somewhere.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.